Hey, church, I want to talk to you about something that may be the hardest thing to do as a Christian, or at least the hardest thing to do well. And I don't care if you're a new Christian, a seasoned Christian, a pastor, a parent, a friend, sibling, whatever. This is probably the hardest thing to do well. I'm doing kind of a part 2 on what we looked at last time in Philippians 1, 9, and 10, where Paul says, "And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more in all knowledge, in knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve what is excellent and so be pure and blameless for the day of Christ." I made the argument last time that our love should grow from simple affection to awareness. So that awareness being built on top of that affection. In other words, we need to be more aware. We need to have more information and have more perception of how to best love somebody. And I gave what I meant to be an analogy, not a direct application, but I gave the analogy that, if you invited somebody over for supper and they had a food allergy, just sort of being agnostic about their food allergy could lead them to harm, right? I don't care. I'm just going to love them with my food, and they end up getting sick or dying or something like that. That's not a loving thing to do. That was meant to be an analogy. But it got me thinking about, what would be a real life application or example of how to do this? And the illustrations abound. But I'm going to focus on one today because I just want you to sort of think about this in one scenario, and I think you'll kind of be able to build upon that in your mind. But several years ago, way back, I think before we even had kids, a friend of mine, actually, a guy that I knew from our Christian college, wasn't really a friend, but I knew him, and I had friends that were his friends. He got into photography, started doing really well, and it was either he or his wife posted an award that he'd gotten for a photo shoot on their Facebook page. And the photo shoot was something that I will say, as a Christian, especially a Christian man, and especially a Christian married man, all those layers, was not something that he should have been involved in. And yet, many of my Christian friends and people that I knew from the college liked, loved, affirmed, congratulated him on this photo shoot. And I just was like, is this the best thing we should be doing here? And certainly what he did was not good. And yet I think out of a sense of love and affection for this guy, people felt compelled to congratulate him on it. See, this is where knowledge and discernment are so vitally important, because when we're asking the question, how do I best love, what we're really asking is what is good for that person over time, over the long term. Not just today that makes them feel good, but what is good for them next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. How do I push that person in a direction that is godly, that actually helps them please God and not cause themselves harm or others harm around them? So, what could have been done in this situation? Well, I think with some knowledge and discernment, there's the knowledge aspect that there's certain things that don't please God. There's certain things that he is diametrically opposed to. And so when you say, hey, this is good, you're really calling something good that God calls something bad, and that God calls bad. And so that knowledge aspect, I think, would have been helpful there, but also the discernment to know, hey, is this really the best thing for him? So, I wasn't close to him, but I've done this with friends that are close to me, where I'll see something that they post or that they say or they did, and I'll privately reach out to them. Or if it's egregious enough, I'll publicly address it. But if it's private, if it's something that I can address privately, I'll just reach out and be like, hey, man, I'm so proud of you for this or that, but come on, this isn't a good thing. This isn't something that you should be doing. And that hopefully, as a close friend, that person would know, hey, I love you, but I love you enough to say that this isn't good. In this situation with the post and stuff, maybe I don't know him that well. Well, still, I probably should just kind of move on from that post and try to congratulate him on something else that he does that's more wholesome. So the answer to this is, it's hard. It's really hard. But a greater knowledge of what pleases God and a greater discernment of how our actions or interactions in a given situation is going to be truly loving and helpful for a person helps us, as Paul says, to approve or to test or to put to test those things that are excellent and be pure and blameless for the day of Christ. There's an idea, just to kind of continue on this line of thinking, that in our culture, that if I don't affirm, condone, approve, congratulate, just about anything, that somehow I'm doing violence to somebody. I'm causing them harm. Well, of course, this is false. This is not a good way to think. A friend comes to me and says, hey, man, I've really, been finding a lot of results drinking Dawn dish soap, and he's doing it in front of his kids. Am I going to be like, hey, man, great. Hey, it's working for you. That's awesome. I mean, maybe there's something to Dawn dish soap, okay? But I think, we would go, whoa, time out. There's probably another way. And I love you, and I love your kids too much to let you recklessly do this. I mean, this is going to harm somebody. Somebody's going to get hurt or die. See, I can't just approve something out of affection. And yet we so often feel compelled to do that. Oh, I love that person. People they'll look for affirmation in a lot of ways. Hey, I got a new job, I got a new car, I got a new dress, I got a new boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And we feel like, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's just like this compulsion. Yeah, that's great. When you look past the surface, or maybe sometimes obviously, we go, no, that's not great. Or I'm not actually happy for you that you got that. Because I think long term that's going to hurt you. That promotion, that award, that path you're going, that hobby, whatever it is, it's not actually good. It takes incredible wisdom and discernment then to be able to show the person that you love them and yet be a light and a corrective or confrontational or iron sharpening iron presence in their life. I think this is especially hard for parents, especially parents of older children or grown children, where it's like, man, I need to have that. I need to have that relationship with that person. I don't want to forfeit my relationship with my kid, with my grandkids. But yet at the same time, I don't want to approve what they're doing because I don't think it's biblical. It takes a lot of wisdom to do this. Okay, I think that's why Paul says, I'm praying for you that your love would grow in knowledge and discernment. Because he recognizes this is not an easy thing to do. This takes situation by situation wisdom to be able to look at the scriptures and apply it to that situation. So as you're coming here into this new year and seeking to grow, hopefully as a Christian, this is a great area to ask God to help you grow in. Again, this isn't just something for younger believers. I'm in a pastor's group on Facebook, and these questions come up all the time. Hey, we got this family, got this guy, this girl, this situation in our church, and I want them to know I love them. But I need to confront this issue because it's about to be a train wreck, or it's going to be long term. This is never easy. It's never easy. It shouldn't be easy. If it's easy, you're probably doing it wrong. You're probably either not saying enough or you're saying way too much, coming in with hand grenades, into a situation that really needs a lot more finesse. It's hard. Prayer. I can even think to a couple of instances in the last couple of weeks here where I'm about to walk into a situation where I need to have a conversation with somebody, and I say, Lord, give me the wisdom of Solomon. Give me the wisdom of angels to be able to address this situation in a way that is helpful for them. That they know that I love them, but they also need to hear some truth. The other thing is phone a friend. I mentioned I'm in this pastor's group. That's why we do this. But I do this all the time personally. I don't know how to talk to this person. I'm not sure how to address this issue. I'll talk to my wife. I'll talk to a friend, another pastor, and my parents. How do I deal with this? How do I say the right things? Is there a way to bring this up, or is there a way to confront this, or is there a way not to hurt that person, hurt their feelings, but also love them in a way that pushes them towards the Lord? Not an easy thing to do. Seek wisdom from the Lord. Seek wisdom from others. Even if, you think, well, they might not be smarter or wiser than me, in your evaluation, but they might have gone through this situation before. You go like, how would you handle this? It's a great thing to do. My encouragement to you is not to be reckless in your love, but to grow in knowledge and discernment. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, but I hope this helps you to start thinking about these things and to be more prayerful and careful and biblical, to study the Word, to be able to address these things in a way that's good for people. So I hope this helps. We'll see you in the next video.